When God created the world, he basically introduced two things: the existence of the universe and the life of the universe. Existence and life are two separate things. Something has to exist before it can live. And since nothing existed, when God started the creation, the first thing he had to do is give existence to non-existent things. So God created existence. And then God gave every existent being a life. Now, what is the definition of existence? Scientifically, what's the definition? What does it mean this thing is? Before you tell me what it looks like, what shape it is, what texture, it is. What does that mean? What gives it that property? What do you mean it exists? What does it mean to be? Before we get to not to be. To be means to occupy space. That's the scientific definition. It's also the Kabbalistic definition. That's what it is. If you occupy space, then you are. If you don't occupy your space, then you're not. You don't exist. So everything in the world exists by virtue of occupying its space. A book on the shelf doesn't allow another book in that same space. One stone doesn't allow another stone into its space. But even a thought occupies mental space. One thought doesn't allow another thought to enter its space, which is why you can't think two thoughts at the same time. Well, and remain sane. And the same is true with emotions. Emotions occupy space. The heart is full. Of course, it occupies emotional space. So fire, water, stones, they all exist the same way. They occupy space. They take up space. And what does it mean to take up space? It means you can't come into my space. But when it comes to the life of the various existences, this varies. The life of fire is not the same as the life of water, because life means the contribution, the function that you bring to the existence. Fire introduces warmth, light, makes things come apart. Water introduces plants, growth, makes things stick together. Different life. A stone has a minimal life, but it introduces weight, resistance to movement, heaviness, hardness. The problem is that the human being both exists and lives, and the two are not always compatible. Sometimes what is good for my existence is not so good for my life. And sometimes what is good for my life is not so good for my existence. Just a simple example is the fact that you're here in this room. See, if I had the whole room to myself, my existence would be expanded. This would be my space. I would occupy all this space. But when you intrude into this room, you steal my existence. So I resent it. And I hate you for being here. I'm just being honest. On the other hand, I'm really glad you're here. Because talking to an empty room is not a life. So you've ruined my existence, but you're good for my life. See, that's why we often end up loving someone but not liking them. or loving and hating. I love you because you enhance my life, but I hate you because you're cramping my existence. And we're not even married. Imagine what it's like for a married couple. In fact, I think a new definition for marriage. When a man proposes to a woman, he should say, of all the women, of all the fair maidens in the kingdom, I choose you to destroy my existence. If anybody else does it, I resent it. But you, okay. Because that's what marriage is. Marriage means give up your existence. It's not your space anymore, it's our space. But on the other hand, it's for life, it's wonderful. Even a woman gets pregnant, her existence is destroyed. Her space is not her own. She can't eat when she wants, what she wants. She can't sleep when she wants, how she wants. And yet, that's when she's most alive. So what's good for life is not always good for existence, and what's good for existence is not always good for life. This little distinction helps us understand so much. What should a couple do when they find that they're causing friction to each other? You're cramping my style. Give me some room. I feel suffocated. Well, first of all, it's in the marriage contract that that's going to happen. Marriage means I'm going to destroy your existence. Don't back out now. But what do? There's only one solution. Existence is not something to be proud of. It's not a talent. Existence means, don't touch me. I was here first. It's mine. That's childish. It can be very mean. It's really not something to be proud of. It's an embarrassment and a burden. Because in addition to excluding others, existence also makes demands. Why do we need to eat? Just to exist. Why do we need to sleep? Just to exist. Existence has so many demands. Security, love, companionship, just to exist. Life, on the other hand, makes no demands at all. Life gives. Life carries you, whereas existence you have to carry. So if there's a conflict and you have to choose between life and existence, the smart thing to do is give up the existence. Choose life. So in a home, in a couple's life, give up the space. Let the other person have the space. What do you need it for? It's just a burden. Home is where life happens. Every place else, it's just your existence. When a man comes home from work, a woman comes home from work, they walk in their front door and their day begins. Because until now you were just existing. You don't go to work to make a living. That's not correct. You go to work to make an existence. When you come home, that's where you live. That's where life happens. That's the magical, mystical power of a home. What do we teach our children? What do we tell our children about what they're going to grow up to be? We tell them how to brush their teeth. We tell them how to cross the street. We teach them how to ride a bicycle. We tell them how to avoid strangers. Isn't there anything we tell them about life? why they brush their teeth, why avoid strangers. Even going to school. You say, go to school, get good grades. Well, that sounds noble. But then we ruin it by saying you get a good grade, you'll get into a good high school, which will get you into a good college, which will get you a good job, which will give you a big car. See, you ruined it. You tell a child not to lie. Okay, that's good. That's a life value. But then we ruin it. We say, don't ever lie. Because if you lie, people will stop believing you when you're telling the truth. And your existence is going to be miserable. You tell a child to share. Share your toy with your friend. Now that's good. And then we ruin it. Share with your friend, so your friend will share with you. And he's got much nicer toys. We have to teach our children life, the rules of life. Serving others, being available to someone else, giving up a little of your existence so that you would have more of a life. That's what a home is. That's where we practice life. And that, the mystics tell us, is the real secret behind creation. God created the world because he exists forever and ever, and his existence is everywhere and in every place, and that's not a life. That's a magnificent existence. And God said, no, I've got to create a world, and that world will become my home. Then my existence will be enriched. Then my existence will have content, will have purpose, will have beauty, passion. But just to exist, even God is not content with that. And so we mimic God because we are created in his image. The Gemara says, a person without a home is not a person. We feel completely deflated if we don't have a home, if there's no place to go home to. So we're celebrating the value of a home that a Chabad house offers, that you can offer to people who are far from their home, or their home is only about existence. A home where l'chaim is not said. So if you want to know, what is the world all about? According to Kabbalah, according to the Baal Shem Tov. What are we all about? What is it about the Jewish people? We can sum it up in one word. And you know this very popular, familiar phrase, Am Yisrael Chai. The simple meaning is, Jews are alive. The deeper meaning is, Am Yisrael. If you want to describe the Jewish nation, you can describe it in one word. What are we all about? We are about Chai. We choose life over existence. Am Yisrael Chai. That's what we are. And that's why we say L'chaim. L'chaim.
Partner with Rabbi Friedman. Visit itsgoodtoknow.org/support.